So this is my first video on actual art. Before that, I uploaded a weird experiment that I did with paint. That worked out, by the way. After 3 months, if you did not know, I tried to revive my gouache, which got moldy 5 times. and every single time I put the lid on, you can say it used to get this thing. And now, with the experiment that I did, it has not gotten moldy for past how many months? I don't know, but like from March till July, it has not gotten moldy. Okay, so and it smells fresh and it works beautifully. Okay, but now I would really like to discuss about watercolors because I think people just hate watercolors so much. Honestly, I feel like I like watercolors a lot because they are so meditative, right? Like, unlike gouache, because I'm trying to learn gouache and I know how much of a headache it is, it is way more. I think that a part of it being meditative and nice, and honestly, you can say for you to let go of control is because you're not really making forms until unless you're trying to make your life difficult or if you have mastered whatever to a certain level. Unlike acrylics or unlike oils, those opaque mediums, watercolor is nicer because you already have to establish the form in pencil sketch, right? But I would say watercolor heavily depends on your color theory, right? And can you understand the medium perfectly? What do I mean by that? So, what paper do you have? Literally, every single paper works differently, even on brands. Oh my god, even brands online on Amazon, they will all behave differently. I know it's about like cheap and expensive, but sometimes even if you like buy artist quality medium level paper, like it's not extremely expensive. I forgot the name, but you know those expensive papers. But it is also not like cheap papers. It is like decent, right? Even those vary so much batch by batch. Honestly, I will tell you why. I will tell you about this later in the video. But I would like to start from how did my watercolor journey start. I actually started learning watercolor when I was 11 years old, right? And then it was lockdown. Okay, it was lockdown. I did not go to school. Like I was honestly a dropout, even though I went to school. But like you all know how school went at that time, right? So during that time, man, I keep forgetting what I'm saying. During that time, I was so interested in acrylic painting, which is stupid because I did not know they were acrylics, and I tried to make them with watercolors. I remember I had those piece of art. For that time, it was decent because I think during that time, the watercolor I had, it was more like gouache. We all know how cheap watercolors are. Watercolors. Okay. So yeah, it was okay, but honestly, I don't think so. I learned anything. It was mostly about playing around and just thinking that, oh my god, I made something because I copied something. Right. Then I found out or discovered Scott Christian Saba. I think everyone knows him, right? Especially in India, it's like everyone knows him. Every artist, okay? Any art child who kind of wants to learn art, they will get his videos first. But I don't know, I guess because he is very, very optimistic. And a part of him is just so dad like because he's a dad. I think he's very friendly in that context. So I watched his videos since I was like 12, 13 years old and I tried to copy him so much. Right? From him, I kind of started to copy his watercolor style, which was honestly, it was kind of like he used to first make his sketches into a coloring book page by inking them. Right? It honestly used to feel like a coloring book page, which was honestly nice because then it is not that much pressure. Wait, what? It, oh my god, I forgot English. Whatever. It did not create a lot of pressure on the artist or like a new learning artist to establish those scary watercolor stuff, and he used to make it into graphite graphic. Graphic. He used to make it into a graphic print kind of a thing. I tried to copy his style over here. Obviously, I failed considering how saturated my colors are, but I liked it at that time, I guess. But okay, so I stopped doing his style, I guess, 2 years back. Okay, because I went to a school where fine arts became my main subject. So it was not like I did it because I had some intuition or something. I was forced to do it. I was forced in the best, but also the worst kind of place with watercolors. Why? Because if you are taking school curriculum, I don't know like where do you take school curriculums from, but it's like it honestly is bad because one of our, you can say, submissions for 2 years were watercolor still lifes on A2 size sheet. Like honestly, thinking from a perspective where I had art, but like not other children had art before it. I mean, they were not that much familiar with art. Giving them watercolors, which honestly is somewhat like you're putting gradients on stuff. You have to be very, very, very deliberate with it, and at the same time, you also have to make it flow. It's like people really hate. Okay, and giving them A2 side, it is a nightmare for them. I remember in my class, everyone hated it. And me and my friend, we always used to talk about how this would have been so good if we were given it in A3. But anyways, there are few things that I learned. I think that we might have heard this from many people, but this is my personal experience too. If you're doing watercolors or bigger size shapes, never, and I mean never, take dark subjects. We were never given an opportunity to take lighter subjects, or we were given opportunity, but it was more like a still life was mainly something that I did watercolor in. Others I did mix version, so I didn't really felt it that much. But it's it was like still lifes are rarely ever light colored, and that really depends on the instructor, right? That they will have to put a light colored still life, and we unfortunately did not have a light colored still life. Every single still life, it was extremely vibrant, and I feel that that was like a very bad thing because watercolors, honestly, is something that you have to learn one thing how to desaturate stuff. Because saturation is so easy, you will literally, for example, this tubes, right? You will take any tube, ultramarine, right? If you put it on paper, it literally feels so vibrant, right? Because the white of the paper underneath really shines. That is an acrylic painting behind me. It also has ultramarine, a portion. I don't know. I think it has ultramarine. This part is ultramarine. Right? It does not look that okay, that looks vibrant because I did not do it that darkly. But if you say upper one, the hollow, whatever you call it. Right, that does not look that dark because the ultramarine did not let the white of the canvas pass through it. So, if you're doing watercolors, know this, try to desaturate stuff a lot, and it becomes hard if you do not have a bigger palette. That's why I've built this. It is a glass slab that is honestly used as an extra shelf because I'm such a deorganized person. But It is helpful and it is very cheap. Honestly, I think that I made it for free for extra material that was in my house. But this is one of the paintings I made. I think that this is very important to tell the durations too. So I made this in 4 hours, including the sketch, which was not a lot. Okay, by the way, this is not my original piece. It was an AI picture I found. AI morning. I know people hate it a lot, but school assignment, I'm sorry. So I got this image. Obviously, it was AI. I turned it into watercolor in what is that called? Filter, whatever. A website, I don't know. And then try to copy that because we are just not used to copy. It's hard to not copy. Okay, I'm trying to not copy, but right now I'm not. This one, it came out not good. I would say I will tell you the mistakes in this one. But it did not turn out horrible. Why did it not turn out horrible? Horrible. It's because this part, as you can see, it is light. Right? There is only one. Yeah, there is only 1 to 2 layers of watercolor here. Right? That's why this big sheet, right, which is you can see it as big, right? It did not look that horrible, but I would still consider it as not a good watercolor sketch. First of all, it is copy, that's why. But if you're not even considering that, I have to use gouache. See? If you have to use gouache, I'm sorry. Watercolor is just you can use gouache. I'm not saying that bash artists are using mixed media. No. If you're learning, okay, if you're learning, try to be purist. Okay, after that you can do mixed media. Mixed media is honestly easy. People make it sound like mixed media is something which is like so hard. Right? Some people are like so afraid of mixed media. Honestly, why? It is like you have so much options. Right? If you're doing transparent layers, you can do watercolors. If you're doing opaque layers, you can do acrylics, oils, or anything else. If you're doing gradients, you can do spray painting, literally anything. So I think mixed media is one of the most creative things, but also you have to be a decent level of expertise in all mediums that you're using. Right? Okay, there are few more problems here. As you can see, I use sketch pens here. Watercolor sketch pens. That is the worst thing that you can do in watercolors because then that becomes very, we can say, cartoonish. This looks cartoonish. This looks cartoonish. This is not real, right? Real is something that you see online. I think that I'm talking about the academic stuff, right? I will show you that. I recently just completed it 2 hours ago, and I will tell you I had a lot of struggle with it, but okay. The second thing that I would like to show is what happens when you go big in paper size and then you try to do an extremely dark subject. I know this painting is not completed because seeing this, I was horrified. This happens. It looks horrible. It looks horrible. If okay, for the people who are new to fine arts, watercolor, or anything, art, right? Many people or many students work actually turns out somewhat like this. There are many reasons for this. And it in the starting it looks nice because you did work, but it's not about doing work. It's kind of knowing the medium well. This is a tip, by the way, from a 17-year-old artist, is try to make art in the least amount of work you can do. Oh my god, maybe that's it. Try to do anything, sketching, painting, in the least amount of brush strokes, least amount of pencil lines, ever that will turn out good until and unless you're doing mixed media. Or until and unless you're trying to go very realistic, like Ghibli style or realistic, right? Then I think that you can layer and layer and layer and layer and overdo it. But otherwise, if you're doing anything, overdoing literally looks so horrible. It will not look effortless. Effortless is something which is like there in everything, right? If you do, oh my god, this camera actually, right? If you're doing music, if you're doing dance, if you're doing art, effortless is something that people like most. Rare, it is very rare that people like extremely rigid stuff, and that too you have to be aware of that to a certain extent. But anyways, now what is the problem here? We use a flat brush. I use a flat brush here. I am saying we because we live in a group. See, when you're using a brush, okay, so I hardened it for your reason. So it is rock hard right now, but if you're doing watercolors, you need these brushes. Like you need these. Why? I honestly don't know the reason, but I think this kind of like rubs the paper. I know that like that is not a good thing that produces cauliflowers. You know, those paper just starts scrubbing off. That is not really good. But this is the only thing that will make your watercolor bleed. Bleed and like it will look like a gradient only because of this. Otherwise, it will look like you're doing graphic design, right? It will have very rigid strokes. You can see over here. See this part, right? How rigid this is. This is not blending, right? You do not have to do that because if it's not blending, it will not look like a watercolor. It will look like a graphic design, right? And honestly, it's not pure finance, right? On the academic level. The second thing I would say, obviously, this is so dark. This is extremely dark. How will you make this? My question is, if you're doing this dark, this big, this is too big. And you have to color this entire drapery. Think about this. You have to color this entire drapery. And this paper, this watercolor paper, I'm telling you, the most scary thing ever. This is the only thing that makes watercolor scary. So, this thing, first you have to put yellow as base. Then you will have to put red. I do not remember the drapery color. Right? Drapery color. Okay. But it's hard. You cannot do it because watercolor works best if you're working in this much area or maximum in this much area. Right? Going above that, it's like too much stuff and the paper bulks up. It is so horrible. Never go this level until and unless you're making something which is like so light, you do not have to put more than 1 to 3 layers to get gradient. Okay, that was my second advice. Or third. I don't know how many advices I give. I always forget. Okay, this was the only still life that turned out decent for me that I would like to show. I don't know why did it turn out decent, but I think it turned out decent because it is in horizontal, and I don't know why. This was easier. Okay, this is like this is yeah. So see, I like this one. I think because it is the same size. It is the same size as the video. Same size. Okay. But unlike this one, right? This had way more, I guess, smaller pieces to work with. This drapery section is entirely separate from this small section. This is small, right? This is one section. This is one section. This is one section. This is one section. So those sections are very important. Then see, I think another part here is I did not use gouache here. This was the only thing that I did not use gouache in. Although I'm still not that much happy about the basket, but that's what I knew at that time. And this was also, we had a limit. We had a limit of 3 hours here. So I am very happy with this. But I still was very upset in my entire high school curriculum that we never really get to do anything in A3 in watercolor. Obviously, We did not have an option, but like we could do it. But obviously, like in school, why would you take a personal project? It's just too much. So I tried to make a self curriculum. The self curriculum was I would make 18 whatever the studies in my drop year. That's another lore. I think that I would discuss this lore way later, and I have gotten many life lessons from it. But anyways, I only touched two of them. Out of 18, I only touched two. And out of them, I only completed one hurriedly, right? And one of them is half left. Not half, I think that I can complete it in like half an hour. But so, what was it? This curriculum was simply this, that I will do six still lifes, still six portraits, and six landscapes, right? So I did one portrait and one still life. This is not completed. Okay, as you can see, the tape is still around here. I was trying to learn watercolor in monochromatic. Okay, as you can see, this looks a little old because I first put a yellow wash on this. Right. I have things to say about this. If you can see, I this over this these yellow things. This is that this what is this called? Art masking fluid. God knows why this is blue. But okay, this paper is weird. This paper is so weird. I cannot even tell you. It's like papers are watercolor papers is still somewhat smooth. This paper is somewhat smooth. Right? This paper, I don't know why the hell is it like so rough. You can hear it. It is like so rough. I don't know why is it so rough. It's like, and I'm just so scared that if I will try to peel it, it will just not peel. It's like even here, as you can see, I don't know why the masking fluid kind of became one bit of paper. That is weird. These things, I don't know like why does this happen in traditional stuff, but honestly, that is the fun of traditional, right? That I don't think so that digital has it. I have not tried it yet. I completely forgot to talk about this in the video, which is important. I honestly feel you can get watercolor effect on acrylics, and that's why I have painting behind me. Right, although it stays there anyways. But if you can see, oh my god, I have to pick this up. Okay. If you can see those mountains, those are made from acrylics, but it looks like it is watercolor. Right? It is honestly very easy. You literally have to use it exactly how you would do watercolors on paper. You have to use acrylics exactly like that on a canvas, and honestly, it feels so good. And I will tell you a technique for that. What is that called? Texture. I think I texture white. Yeah, texture white. Use texture white and try to make texture on your canvas. If you make decent texture on your canvas, use a sponge, use a cloth or something like dab it. It will make a little bit of spikes. It will work like acrylic. It will honestly work like watercolors, and it looks so beautiful. And honestly, it is more like the process is so nice to do. I remember still I did those mountains how many 1.5 years ago, and it was the most beautiful experience I ever had. It was so nice. It was very much like you're playing. So, and also because it was acrylic, there was no sense of like, there was no sense of it will get ruined because you can obviously just put a layer on top of it and do it again. I had to go for a minute. But yeah, I don't know why. This paper is just weird. But it's not like it is only weird. It is also very nice. Do you remember when I said that watercolor just doesn't feel like watercolor because it's too graphic sometimes? That happens because you have too much of a plain paper. Because this was very rough, my next painting that I just completed 1 hour ago came out good. And I honestly think that this one is the best work I did right now. Okay, I am not that impressed by this still. Do you know why what happened? I was only interested in making those pots. After that, you know what happened? After that, I was like, I used such a complicated reference and I have to make the drapery. That drapery, which has patterns and God knows so many types of folds. If you can see, I only did this section properly. After that, I got pissed off and just smothered whatever I thought was like looked like normal. Right, but still, I would not say that this painting is that good. I will tell you the reason why. It was obviously because I got frustrated after my pots were over, right? Watercolor has to be a certain level of smooth. I already said it. What do I mean by that? As you can see, this one, I built layers on top of it. That's why it looks soft, right? It still lacks many things, but still. It looks soft and it looks effortless. But drapery, because the drapery was so complicated and I was fed up to use my pen, I started to do the same thing that I was doing for past 3 years, which was, you can say, treating watercolors like paint filling things, right? Like this is a coloring book. If you are using watercolor like a coloring book, it will not turn out good. It will turn out very cramped, like this did. Right? I am happy with it because it looks better than them, but now it does not look like something that I would make. This does not look silly. Okay, the reference that I used was this one. Right? What can we say? Right? But anyways, this looks too saturated. This looks too saturated. It looks too clamped. And honestly, if I took take this and put it somewhere, I don't know. I mean, it's okay. It's nice, but I don't know. It doesn't look nice only because there is no gradual shift in this. This softness of watercolor is not here. It is too rigid by the fact. See the lines. It is too rigid. There is no flow and there is no texture to it. It literally looks like I have filled a watercolor sketchbook. So that is not something that you have to do, but you have to practice that a lot. And honestly, drapery is one of the hardest thing ever. For me, I would say this is a lesson. Like I do know how to do it because I did it in the pots. And every single thing which was not hard. For example, this the background. I loved playing around in the background a lot, and I think it turned out quite decent, right? The drapery is the only issue there. But I think that I found out something else. So, okay, I watched so many watercolor artists online, right? And I tried to practice them in my practice sketchbook. It is very horrible, by the way. But there were certain things that I found out about form, right? I was talking about this in the starting, right? That watercolor is nice because you do not have to care about the form because you have already made the undersketch. If you're so good at watercolors, right? Or if you're like an intermediate artist who are trying to practice, making forms with watercolors is one of the most, you can say, nice ways to improve your overdoing. Everyone keeps saying, do not overdo it, do not overdo your work because overdoing work kills your work. This way, doing directly with watercolors is so nice because you are so afraid, or everyone is so afraid, to make watercolors look muddy. or to make the watercolors look oversaturated. So you have like two, three things going on in your mind while you are also concerned to make an object look 3D. It really is a good exercise. Right. I don't know if I have it. Okay, for example, this flower. I would like to show you this. I like this flower a lot. Do you know why? It looks real to a certain extent. Right. It still looks graphic, but it looks like watercolor. You know, if you can see, I tried to imagine a proper plant, and as you can see, like this bell flower, right? It is facing this direction, while there are back water bell flower, right? Which are facing the opposite manner. I had to think about. Oh my god, the light is going away. I have to really think about what was the form of this, how was it looking in 3D space. So this is nice, and honestly, I don't think so that I overdid it that much. Right. Another thing that I would like to show would be not this. This is my watch series, which honestly looks so horrible. This is honestly bad, but I still would like to show it. I don't know why. It was very horrible. See, okay, this thing is important. I tried to copy this cat from Pinterest. It was very, very light. Like watercolor, honestly, the only thing you have to balance is how will you make something extremely light. This did not work. Do you know why? Because of the paper. I am telling you, if you're making something light, it's just the intuition, and also it is very easy. If you have to make something graphic, choose a paper which is less grainy. If you have to make something which is realistic, choose a paper which is extremely rough. And honestly, saying cold press paper, hot press paper, honestly, I don't think so that works, because whenever you go online to shop, whenever you do anything, I don't know, you can literally get anything. You get smooth papers in cold press paper, you get rough paper in hot press paper. God knows what is happening. Maybe it is stationaries around me. It did not look good at all because of batteries. Um, Honestly, that is what I found out about watercolors till now. I might learn anything else new sometime later. I might talk about gouache later. I would like to show this. I try to copy and study Instagram artist. Right. It is Chinese artist actually on Douyin. He makes such a he or she, I don't know who he is. But she makes such beautiful things. And I think that she uses opaque watercolors, which is honestly weird. Right? But it is also very nice. But I have still not figured out how does she make those beautiful things. So that is all my discoveries of watercolors that I made in the past 3 years, 4 years, whatever, 6 years. I don't know all the time. But yeah, these are the discoveries I made. I might talk about gouache next time that I'm struggling with right now a lot. Bye.